2 weeks ago, I was speaking with a student who told me he'd been struggling with his Russian progress. He felt like he was putting in the hours, but things weren't quite sticking. And as we dug deeper, I realized there was a crucial factor he was overlooking, and one that had made a massive difference in my own language learning journey. And today I want to share that with you because it might just be the game changer your Russian skills need. So let's rewind to when I was in the early stages of learning Russian. I was young, still partying a lot, and honestly, my sleep occasionally suffered from that. But here's the thing. I had already established a solid daily Russian learning routine. I was doing audio courses, watching series, and learning new words every day. So what I noticed was pretty eye-opening. On the nights when I did get a good sleep, my Russian learning the next day was just so much better. It was easier to motivate myself to start listening to audio lessons. My focus was sharp, and it felt like everything I studied was just sticking in my brain better. But those nights after partying and just not sleeping well, it was like my brain had just hit the reset button. All that knowledge from the day before, gone. And trying to focus on learning new stuff, well, just forget about it. Now, I'm no sleep expert, but I started looking into why sleep seemed to make such a big difference. So from reading up on it and personal experience, here are a couple of key reasons. First, sleep is crucial for memory formation. When you sleep, your brain takes all that short-term knowledge, those new Russian words and grammar rules that you practiced, and transfers them to your long-term memory. It's like your brain is just hitting like the save button on all your hard work. And without good sleep, a lot of that information just, well, disappears. Think about it this way. Your short-term memory is like a whiteboard. You spend all day filling it up with new Russian knowledge, and then sleep is what copies that information into your permanent files and wipes the board clean, ready for new information tomorrow. And the second big factor, energy and focus. When you're well rested, you're just sharper. It's easier to discipline yourself to sit down and study. Your brain is more receptive to new information. And let's be real, after only 3 hours of sleep, the last thing you want to do is tackle Russian cases, right? But there's something else I noticed. You know how after a great night's sleep, words in your native language just flow better. You're wittier, more articulate. And based on what I'm saying here, I definitely got a bad night's sleep yesterday. Well, the same thing happens with your Russian. Good sleep boosts your verbal fluency just across the board. So what can we do to get better sleep and better learning? I've experimented a lot, and here are some strategies that I apply myself. I make sure my room is well ventilated and keep my balcony door open. I find the crisp air nice compared to the muggy feeling without ventilation. I keep my room as dark as possible and dim down my apartment lights like 1 to 2 hours before going to bed. Light can just mess with your sleep cycles. I also avoid intense content before bed, like no horror movies or emotionally heavy stuff right before sleep. I don't want to jolt my body with adrenaline as I'm about to lay down. I also write down my thoughts and worries in a journal before this. It feels like writing this down gives my brain permission to let things go, usually just a couple of sentences. I've also noticed that heavy meals late at night can impact my sleep quality. I might sleep longer, but I wake up feeling groggy and less sharp. So I'm not sure whether it's good or bad actually, but I definitely feel sharper in the mornings when I don't eat too much before sleep. So for the next week, pay attention to your sleep and how it affects your Russian learning. On days when you're well rested, do you find it easier to focus on lessons? Does vocabulary stick better? Are you more likely to push yourself to practice speaking? And on the flip side, notice what happens on days when you just don't get a lot of sleep. How much harder is it to motivate yourself? Does it feel like you're just going through the motions and not really making any progress? All right, so here's a practical tip. Try to focus on your sleep for a week and see what happens. Go to bed at a consistent time, aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep, create a relaxing bedtime routine. And my favorite, maybe read something in Russian or listen to audio lessons just before bedtime. Because I feel that whenever I do that, my mind just gives priority to that specific material I just covered when processing things at night. So learning Russian isn't just about the hours you put in during the day. It's about giving your brain the best possible environment to process and retain all that new information. And good sleep is a massive part of that equation. If you're looking for a structured way to practice Russian that takes advantage of these principles, you might want to check out my course, Russian Conversations Unlocked. It's designed to work with your brain's natural learning processes. So imagine what happens when you combine the course with good sleep. So, regardless of what resources you're using, I want you to start thinking about sleep as an active part of your language learning strategy. It's not just downtime, it's when a lot of the magic happens in your brain. All right, spokojno noči.